Mademoiselle Debenham, I must ask you why you lied to me earlier.
Lied to you? I don't know what you mean.
You told me you had never been in America.
What makes you think I have?
Information received, as the English police say. You concealed the fact that you lived in the Armstrong household.
And what, may I ask, was I supposed to have been doing there?
You were governess to Helena Gilbert, Mrs. Armstrong's young sister, and you would have no doubt been governess to little Daisy when she was old enough.
You appear to have found me out.
And the reason for these evasions?
I have my living to get. You must know how hard it is for a girl to get and keep decent employment. I had been detained and questioned in connection with a murder case. Do you think that any nice, ordinary, middle-class Englishwoman would want to engage a girl with those references as governess to her daughters?
Even if no blame attached to you, there would be the publicity.
Yes, we have it hard enough getting on, don't we? Without all of that additional baggage.
I understand very well.
I thought you would know what it is like.
I am the hardest working employee in the office, yet I remain at the lowest wages. And I've worried more than once how my employer, Monsieur Booth, will react when he learns of the avalanche, Monsieur Poirot's accident, the murder. I'm not to blame, but
somehow you will be blamed. It's not fair. It's just the way things are.
You could have helped the investigation.
How?
Is it possible, Mademoiselle Debenham?
Call me Mary, please.
Mary, is it possible you did not recognize Countess Andrigny?
Recognize her? From the society pages, you mean?
She is Helena Gilbert, the young sister whom you taught in New York.
Helena. It is true she reminded me of someone. It puzzled me. But she looks so different now. So elegant. How could I connect her with a little American schoolgirl? I admit I looked more closely at her clothes than her face, and I had my own preoccupations.
Not now, when it's all over, when it's behind us.
Antoinette, those words refer to a private matter of my own. I can't tell you. I can't.
Good day to you, mademoiselle. I've remembered something else I wanted to say. What is the name of the conference you are addressing in London?
Why, it is the International Society of Gastrointestinal Physicians.
Why would such a group be interested in a speech about a disease found in newborn calves?
Why, there are many similarities between... What I mean is anatomy. Constantine, what have you done?
You lied to us about your qualifications, Doctor. You are a veterinarian, yes?
Yes, a very good veterinarian.
Monsieur Poirot and I relied on your qualified opinions.
Mademoiselle Marceau.
All the inconsistencies, the time of death, the difference in the force of the stab wounds. The murderer is strong, but no, look here, the murderer is weak. He is right-handed. No, he is left-handed.
Have you considered he may have held a knife in each hand?
Doctor, enough. All of it can be explained away with the simple fact that you did not know what you were doing.
Mademoiselle, all of my training was to become a medical doctor, to treat human disease and to save human lives. Then, I come from a poor family. I had not the money to finish my studies. The best I could accomplish was doctor of animals. When Monsieur Poirot was told there was doctor on the train, I saw an opportunity to prove myself. Not to you, you understand. To me.
But your evidence...
I swear to you, every observation I made, every conclusion I reached will be verified by any doctor who examines the body. Further, by my acting while the murder was as yet not too long in the past, I may very well have seen more than any doctor coming to the case days or even hours later. I did lie about my degree. I did not lie about my ability. You may rely on everything I have told to you. Yes, even with all the inconsistencies, you have the correct medical evidence before you.
Before I go, there was something else. Your name is Helena, isn't it? Not Elena. You are Helena Maria Gilbert, are you not? Sonia Armstrong's sister, Linda Arden's daughter?
I demand, mademoiselle, to know what right you...
No, Rudolph. It is useless to deny what Mademoiselle Marceau says. It is quite true, mademoiselle. I am Helena Gilbert, the youngest sister of Sonia Armstrong.
Good day, Monsieur le Comte.
Ah, your return. So is there more to report to me, mademoiselle?
It occurs to me in spite of everything that the murder may not have to do with the Armstrong case at all. We have much evidence pointing to the existence of an outsider aboard the train, one who disguises himself, uses stilettos to kill, then vanishes into the snow. What do you think? Or he could be out there in a frozen snow dress or lying broken at the bottom of a rocky ravine. The body may never be found until the spring thaws. I enjoy the investigation, monsieur. I certainly do not enjoy the fact that a man has been killed.
And that is everything I have discovered so far.
We progress, mademoiselle. Let us see what we can learn.
Countess Adreni's maiden name is Gilbert.
Not a very Hungarian name, that.
Her accent is more American than Hungarian. Countess Andreni is Helena Gilbert, Sonia Armstrong's sister.
Ah, oui. It is easy to see why her devoted husband would try to hide that fact. Her account of the Armstrong household is of the greatest interest. Please to go over the points of her testimony that struck you.
Barnaby confirms Colonel Arbuthnot served with Colonel Armstrong.
We, the Royal Northumberland Fusiliers, a regiment most distinguished.
Barnaby has discovered that the last name of the Armstrong cook was Schmidt.
All of her ladies have said that she was a wonderful cook.
Dr. Constantine is a veterinarian.
The only man on the train who answers the description of Ratchet's unknown enemy, and that is his only secret? Bah!
Pierre Michel has no family.
Never married, parents dead, his sister, her husband, and a niece dead in the car crash? Oh, this is enough to explain the sadness that haunts him, and yet he carries the happy family photograph with him, a wife and a child.
The nursemaid's full name was Suzanne Ferrier.
French. Yet no apparent connection to any of the others involved in the case. Ah, well, not every clue will lead somewhere.
Cyrus Hardman has worked for McNeil's for almost 15 years.
I wonder.
The father of Linda Arden's children was named Gilbert.
No marriage, just children. Ah, the smart set is often not so smart, I think.
I have all the pieces. All that remains is for me to assemble them properly.
Très bien, mademoiselle. You have done well. Mademoiselle Marceau, you will recall my observation to you of the many classes and nationalities one meets when traveling.
Yes, of course.
Try to imagine whether such an assembly would ever likely to be collected under any other conditions.
In America?
Oui, the great melting pan of America.
Melting pot.
This is the answer I made to myself as well. Only in America you might find a household composed of such varied nationalities. And what do we discover here? Such a household has recreated itself aboard this train. A household damaged almost beyond recovery 10 years ago by the man Ratchet. And so we near the end of at least one journey. Please to assemble our fellow passengers in the salon car. Oh, and please also to send for Michel and Dr. Constantine. I will need their assistance to convey me to the salon car.
You will present your solution?
I will offer 3 solutions. You, mademoiselle, will decide which of them will best serve justice. Eh bien, messieurs, we have before us a most delicate operation. Transferring the person of Poirot to the salon car, where the suspects, they are all assembled. Poirot, is ready for the ordeal. Marche! Mon Dieu, take care!
Beware of Greeks bearing gifts.
Mesdames et messieurs, there are three possible solutions of this case. There is the solution concocted for the benefit of the Yugoslavian police, who were expected to take up the investigation. A little play that was then embellished with several improvisations. When I, Hercule Poirot, unexpectedly appeared on the stage. And then there is a solution that reveals the most careful plotting of a truly brilliant mastermind. And yet there is also a third, one of which I think even now that mastermind, in this carriage with us as I speak, has no knowledge. With the help of Mademoiselle Marceau, my able assistant, you see Poirot, he is also able to improvise, huh? I shall put all three solutions before you, and I shall ask Mademoiselle Marceau and the eminent Dr. Constantine here to judge which solution is the right one. Mademoiselle, are you ready to proceed?
Oui, monsieur.
Eh bien, we commence. Monsieur Ratchet had received the threats from an unknown enemy. Mademoiselle Marceau. The tone of these letters suggests an enmity born in the American underworld, of which Monsieur Ratchet was once a part. A former colleague in one of his kidnapping schemes? Who knows? We have the evidence of a detective Monsieur Ratchet hired to protect him.
The detective is Cyrus Hardman, posing as a salesman of typewriter ribbons.
The evidence of Monsieur Hardman, who is indeed a detective hired to protect Monsieur Ratchet, gives to us a description of a small, dark man with a womanish voice. Except for the voice, this description would only fit two men on this train.
Matteo, the Athens-Paris coach attendant, and Dr. Constantine.
Yet Monsieur Hardman's vigilance during the night shows that no one could have passed from the Athens-Paris coach to the Calais coach without his seeing them. So anyone in that coach must be exonerated. The enemy actually came aboard the train at Belgrade one of two ways.
Through the door left unbolted by Monsieur McQueen.
This enemy was disguised, leaving behind a button in Madame Hubbard's room when he used her connecting door. Mademoiselle, the disguise? A passkey was found in the pocket of this uniform, giving the murderer access to Ratchet's room. Ratchet was under the influence of a dose of his sleeping draught, light enough to wake him, but strong enough to prevent him from struggling as the killer left through the connecting door.
Masterman confirmed the dosage of the sleeping draught.
Oui, he did. Well, the murder weapon is obvious. Mademoiselle?
It is a stiletto, the type of knife carried by the criminal type in America called the mafiosi.
The killer planned to leave the train at the next station after committing his crime. Show to them the evidence supporting this, mademoiselle. Exact. The avalanche prevented him from reaching Broad. Even so, he went through with the crime and then hid himself.
The killer hid in an empty room in the Athens-Paris coach.
At first, in the Athens-Paris coach. Then later, it is in the hut. Mademoiselle found the uniform and the stiletto. But the killer had fled. He may have escaped down the mountain, Or he may have come to his just reward somewhere out there in the snow. I think you will agree that we had followed the trail as easily as if we were tracking the footprints in the snow. Well, it is plausible. It certainly fits the most obvious set of facts. I applaud the mastermind who hides behind such an innocent face. The second solution asked more of the little Gressels, not only of Poirot, but those of Mademoiselle Marceau and Dr. Constantine as well. It was hidden most carefully. The unlikely accident of a means of communicating with the outside world, a part filled most ably by my dear friend Barnaby, made the truth, or at least part of it, easier to uncover. But I flatter myself that enough clues were found right here on this train that such communications were almost always but collaborations of conclusions that I had already reached. So, mademoiselle, we will begin again. First, I will speak to you of time. When did Monsieur Ratchet meet his end? I suspect Mademoiselle Marceau has the theory.
1:15 a.m. The watch was broken during the attack, and Madame Hubbard heard the killer in her compartment only moments later.
Let us examine each possibility in turn. 10:40 p.m. or earlier? No, I think not. Mademoiselle Olsen spoke to Ratchet from the doorway at 10:40 p.m., but she never went inside. It conjures the image most bizarre of her throwing a knife at him 12 times from the doorway. And how does she retrieve it? Is there string attached to the handle? No. No, that is a solution of a most lurid sort. 12:37 a.m.? A more interesting possibility. Monsieur McQueen states that Ratchet spoke no languages other than English, and yet the voice answered Michel in French. Still, I think this was simply a performance for the benefit of Poirot. One of the little improvisations. I was meant to see through it and say, no. Monsieur Ratchet, he was already dead by 12:37. He could not have cried out.
The broken watch said 1:15.
Oui, it did. And it fits with the time of Madame Hubbard's visitor. Now I digress for the reminiscence. I observed to Mademoiselle Marceau that one meets many classes and nationalities when traveling aboard the Express. I asked her to imagine whether such an assembly would ever likely to be collected under any other conditions. And mademoiselle, what was your reply?
In America.
C'est ça. Only in America will you find a household composed of so many nationalities. Look about you. As our investigation progressed, it became clear that 9 passengers on this train are connected in some way to the Armstrong kidnapping. Who have we connected to that case, mademoiselle?
Countess Andrenyi. Mary Debenham. Antonio Foscarelli. Colonel Arbuthnot. Princess Dragomirov. Hector McQueen. Edward Masterman. Greta Olson. Hildegard Schmidt. None of the above.
Précisément. These 4 alone, amongst the occupants of the Calais coach, would appear to have no direct connection with the Armstrong case. Yet I was struck by the curious coincidence that everyone in the Calais coach had an alibi. And these alibis are sometimes corroborated even by those not connected to the Armstrong affair. One of you stated to Mademoiselle Marceau that while Monsieur Ratchet got what he deserved, you would have preferred to see him properly hanged. The trial by jury is a sound system. Who said that, mademoiselle?
Colonel Arbuthnot.
Just so. Colonel Arbuthnot. Now that struck a chord with Poirot. I sat back and thought, a jury is composed of 12 people. There are 12 passengers in the Calais coach, discounting myself and Mademoiselle Marceau. Ratchet, he was stabbed 12 times. And the reason the Calais coach was filled in the middle of the winter was explained. All, I repeat, all of the passengers were in on it. They had to be. No alibi could be left to the whim of a stranger. Did this solution explain everything? Let us see. What were the clues that pointed to the first solution, mademoiselle?
All of these clues agree with the first solution.
Wait, and now of course my attention focused on Monsieur Hartmann, for he, the apparent outsider, had provided a key element in this artificial solution of an unknown enemy. How to explain his complicity? And then I remembered that Mademoiselle Marceau had told to me 2 suggestive moments during 2 different interviews with Monsieur Hartmann.
When he said the snow was bright.
May we? The snow has not been very bright today. The sky, it is overcast. And in his apology, he mentions his fondness for French girls. Countess Andrigny told us that the nursemaid, she was French. Her name was Suzanne. Our young friend Barnaby Lewis confirms via the ham radio that her full name was Suzanne Ferrier, and that she was born near Paris. So, it is not so much a leap, I think, to wonder if perhaps the man from New York and the French girl working there might not have formed the attachment.
I've been a detective for almost 20 years, Monsieur Poirot, but I'm in admiration of you. Yeah, Suzanne and I were going to ask her uncle if we could get hitched. He was her guardian. Then the kidnapping and everything. It was too much for her.
Her uncle, monsieur? And his name?
Oh, jeez, I can't say I remember.
A detective for almost 20 years? And you never even knew the name of your fiancé's guardian?
No, probably got it written down somewhere back in New York.
Enough of this foolishness. I can guess his name right now, and so I expect can Mademoiselle Marceau.